Hello. Pardon the lack of makeup. I'm still very jet lagged from my trip to the States. It is now Wednesday. I got back Monday/Sunday. I just want to do like a good old fashioned weekly reading vlog this week where I just read new books that have come to my library recently, and that's it. That's the whole plan. 2 or 3 new books. Last night, I started the book that I saw had arrived when I got home this weekend, and it's Fairly's second romantasy book. I know nothing about it, never heard of it before. It's called Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. It's so gorgeous. I'll show you what it looks like in a second on the inside. Rainier just needs some attention right now. I started this last night. I started it at 10:30. And I read 177 pages. I'm on chapter 13 right now. I didn't know what to expect. Went into this totally blind, and I cannot put it down. I only have to put it down right now because I literally have to do work. I cannot put it off any longer. I have to do work, but I just want to read this book. I don't want to say much about it because going into it blind was 100% the right choice. I will say that it's very steamy, but normally that would bother me. If there are too many smutty scenes, then I don't feel like there's enough plot. But as weird as it sounds, the smutty scenes are driving the plot forward, and this relationship is totally unpredictable. Basically, this girl knows that she's a changeling, so she's fae living in a human world, and she doesn't know anything about herself and is just incredibly desperate, and she's been abused, and she just finds herself in this predicament where basically she's at the mercy of the people around her. And the male love interest is totally wild and unpredictable. Definitely a gray character. I wouldn't even say he's morally gray. He's not really a good guy, but he's good, or tries to be good, with this girl, but we don't understand why. That's all I want to say about it. It's really good. I think that it's a duology, and this is also on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm picking that up when I'm traveling to work on my phone. So that's what we're gonna finish first. I have no words. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do some stretching. I'm gonna make an ice water for me. It's very hot. I have to talk to you about Nectar of the Wicked. I keep forgetting the name of this book. I finished it in 2 days. I've been sitting on it since last night. I downloaded the sequels preview on Kindle. You can't actually get it on Kindle Unlimited, and I loved it so much that I'm not willing to wait for Fairy Loot to make the matching sequel for this edition. I'm just gonna buy it off Amazon. I have to know what happens next. I am shook. It's one of those books where there are a lot of smut scenes, okay? And normally I would say that if you have 20 plus scenes in a book, it's too many. But this one was just, be still, my beating heart. It was tragic, and I loved the way that this character's mind worked. It was so realistic. If you put someone in a really desperate situation, but also you're in love at the same time, I feel this character, I don't want to say her name because I feel it's kind of spoilery. I feel the main character was just real and down to earth, which is kind of crazy because it's a super hot fantasy romance book, and I'm just, there is a gray shadow daddy, maybe not even gray, dark shadow daddy, and I'm just obsessed, basically. It's well worth your time, okay? Well worth your time. I need to make an ice water. It's so hot. Finally, it's summer in London. Why did I close this? I need the ice. I don't know if this is gross or not, but I just use my hands for ice. Sorry, it's weird. I know a lot of people use an ice towel. That's not gonna fit. My mom did buy us an ice bucket. I've yet to use it. Okay, but Ella Fields, I need to look up every other book that you've written. I need to know some more dark romanticies because there's evil things happening in this book, happening to our character, and I'm just, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Read this book. I don't know what I'm gonna read next though, because I can't order the book right now. I need just like a little bit more money in my bank account to feel like I can purchase another book, because I purchased many recently. So I'm gonna wait. We'll see how long I can hold off. It's so good. Okay, let's choose the next book though. I need something to keep me going, keep the momentum going. I'm just gonna pull books that I'm interested in reading. I still need to read. I'm so horrible. I still need to read Gold. I still haven't read that, but I'm not gonna read that this week. Okay, I'm gonna pick between these three because they're all brand new to my shelf and they're all romantasy from what I understand, and adult as well. So we have Mate Me by Kel Carpenter and Aurelia Jane. This is from Butterfly Book Club. Then we have The Wren in the Holly Library by L.A. Lind. This was an impulse purchase from Barnes & Noble last week. Or this week. I don't know. I'm still jet lagged. Don't know anything about it. I just seen it come up. And then When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This, I think, is like the it book of the year. It's dragons, so maybe that's why people are gravitating toward it, because it's Fourth Wing. I have purposely not read anything about this book because the hype of Fourth Wing really set my expectations high, and then I was massively underwhelmed. So I'm not Googling anything about any of these books. I think that's the way to do it. Just go in with zero expectations. Like Nectar of the Wicked, I hadn't heard of it. I just thought it was romantic. I thought it was like fairly short, and I just read it, and it was a great time. So I'm gonna drink my water, do a stretch, and mull over what I want to start reading. And then I'm gonna read a chapter, and then I'm gonna do work. You don't need to know my plans, but that's the plan. That's what's happening. Okay, this artwork on the chapters has sold me. This is what I'm gonna read. I mean, look at that. Just look at the chapter headings. It's so pretty. And I think it's dual POV, so we're gonna go with When the Moon Hatched.
You need to look into the camera.
Okay. Right, so here's what happened. I ended up opening up When the Moon Hatched. Decided that from the first page, I don't have time for all this world building in my brain right now. And the sequel doesn't come out until like autumn next year. So I'm going to read one of her other series that people have been raving about. So I downloaded To Bleed a Crystal Bloom on KU.
How much that cost?
Well, Kindle Unlimited is a subscription.
How much does that cost me?
It's £10, but I've read like 6 books this month on it.
Right.
Okay, it's worth it. So here's the deal. I read 373 pages yesterday, and I never talked about it because it's so good. I'm obsessed. I'm on page 400 right now. I'm 84% done. I just had to tell you that I'm reading this book, and then we can chat about it. But basically, my heart is like being squeezed inside and then imploding on itself. It's so good. I'll tell you about it later, but I just need you to know that I'm reading it. Thank you. That's all. I have finished it. It took me about 90 minutes. Please pardon the only sunscreen look going on because it's too damn hot to live in England where they don't provide air conditioning. I'm sweating. I'm also sweating because this book was so good. My heart is squeezing in on itself, and I need to process it before I'm able to like sit down and tell you why I love it, why you should read it, especially if you wrote fantasy romance, because it's so unlike Rainier's chewing your puppy pad. Rainiera, no, stop. Rainiera. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? The way that Sarah Parker describes such complicated, confusing emotions is unmatched to anyone I've read from before. Like, her talent and gift for writing is exceptional. Her craft, you can tell, has so much care put into it. I need to count how many highlights I have. It's so easy to highlight on Kindle with my phone that I'm just like highlighting literally every passage, every just transitional sentence is so beautiful. It's so poetic. Is she Taylor Swift of writing? Maybe. I need to start book 2, bake some banana bread, let book 1 like process, and then come back tomorrow and like actually tell you what this book is about. Is it a new favorite of all time? Apparently books 2 and 3 are even better. Okay, bye. Okay, you may be able to hear children screaming in the water feature outside my apartment, so apologies for that. Oh, do you want to come up here? Baby. Okay, so let's chat about To Bleed a Crystal Blue. Basically, you don't need to know much. I would go into it blind, like I did, but if you want to know, let me just tell you it, okay? Basically, we're following this girl named Orlaith who is 21, and all you need to understand is that she was rescued as a 2-year-old, and everyone else in that building died. A brutal death. She was rescued, and she grows up in the castle of her rescuer, who is nowhere to be found. So he's present at the same time. So he's a little bit of a guardian, but he's also like the high master of his territory. I'm thinking like a high lord, you know? He's a little bit of a parental figure in the fact that like he provides everything for her. And her feelings towards him are so complex, and she also suffers from addiction and anxiety, all stemming from this trauma as a child. It's so well done. It's an origin story, and I was sold to this by my BFF Sophie. I will link her channel links below. Check her out. She gives the best fantasy romance recs. And Sophie was like, it can be a bit slower because there's not like a lot of action happening, but it's like nitty gritty and angsty, and some people won't like it. And I see that. I see why. For me, it read very quickly, but I love these kind of character-driven fantasy romance stories. And Sarah Parker like treats you like an adult when you're reading this book. It's nothing is spoon-fed. It's not like, okay, this is how this court works, this is how the politics are woven. So it's untraditional in the fact that it's like not telling you these things. You are just learning it and figuring it out as you're reading. And now that I'm jumping into book 2, I'm like 25% done. I can see like the world shaping. It's so good. Today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday, which will be the last day of this weekly reading vlog. Hopefully I can finish book 2 by the end of tomorrow, and then can give you a little insight into that one. And then, to be honest, my next reading vlog will probably start off reading book 3. I am an emotional wreck right now. Like, I can't believe I'm putting myself on the internet like this. I've literally just spilled coffee on myself and I don't even care. I just finished To Snap a Silver Stem, and I just sent 5 minutes worth of voice notes to Sophie from Blondie Reads. I'll link her YouTube channel and her Instagram. She's who told me about this series, and I like started crying. I'm so sorry, Sophie, for crying into your DMs about this book. I did not finish this up in a day. It's been 5 days, so it's longer than a week. But I had to finish this book and tell you about it. I can't just leave you hanging in the middle of this book. I'm sorry, I can't do it. This is one of my favorite series of all time. Like, there's so much depth to this world. I'm left with so many questions. I don't think I've ever been left with so many questions, apart from maybe some books with Sarah J. Maas. If you know, you know. That's the closest thing I can compare to this series in terms of like my mind being like, what the actual fuck? Like, there are so many unanswered questions, and I'm so happy that I read books 1 and 2 back to back, because the author does not spoon feed us. She's like, oh, you need to remember that little thing I just like mentioned casually in passing in book 1. Oh yeah, it's super relevant, and I'm glad that I read them back to back. I'm gonna start book 3 now. I think it's To Flame a Wild Flower or something. I don't know, I'll put it up on the screen. That will be another reading vlog. I'm not going to continue on with that one here because I just will be in tears by the end of this video and you'll have clicked out, not wanting to watch my emotional damage. This, speaking of emotional damage, Orlaith, our girl here, she is one of the most raw characters I've ever come across. The author does such a spectacular job of showing character growth and development, and like we're watching this character spiral out of control by the intention of gaining control of her life. She has so much apathy in this book. She's so different from book 1, but we get to literally watch her brain change. We watch her thoughts change. We watch the way that she starts thinking differently about herself and about the world and about the people in it and her place in this world. Like, it's really kind of sad, but also very real. Man, I'm blown away. I'm like breathing heavy. I'm just, this book is so good. It's 5 stars. Book 1, I liked just a little bit more because there was so much unrequited love happening that I was just like a sucker for that juiciness. I just give me all of it. This one was a bit more serious in terms of understanding how things are coming together, trying to piece things together. Yeah. Oh my god, and there's this one scene, there's a spicy scene that is unlike anything that I have read. And it's oh god, I wish I could like say what it is, but I can't say what it is because it's spoilery. Anyway, thank you for watching this reading vlog and dealing with my emotional shenanigans. I want you to read it. I'm gonna leave a link down below for you to go get the book. It is on Kindle Unlimited, so go get it there if you want. That's why I'm reading it. Definitely will buy physical copies of this series. I do love the indie covers. I think they're beautiful. God, I can't even breathe. I'm literally losing it on camera right now. I want you to read it, and if you made it to the end of this video, why don't you drop a blood drop emoji down below, because it has to do with I think all of these books. There's a little bit of violence happening. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're going to read this series, if I've enticed you. If I haven't enticed you, let me know, and I will go ahead and personally tell you to read it. And all of these books, Nectar of the Wicked, To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, To Snap a Silver Stem. Yeah, go read them. Okay, I love you. That's enough talking. Bye!